of the morning to you. So we've got a little bit of barley blur. So any contribution any of you can be to unblurring the Bali internet, that would be wonderful. But we have Cory Michelle looking just delicious in what I thought was some extremely flash couch, but it's not, is it, Cory Michelle?
No, it's not. It's my bed.
Of course it is. I love it. Oh, hello, Megan. How are you? Um, and I just, like I love that because I look at that and I look at you and just go, man, that acoustical vibration, you got it going on. You got it really going on, don't you?
Hey, and there's so much more I'm aware of.
Oh, so
It's
do
like
you want
never
to talk
thought.
about that a little? Do you want to talk about that a little bit? What else are you aware of with all of this?
I'm like aware that you're never really done. Like in
Yeah.
terms of the like the acoustical vibration of, because it's an infinite universe, right? And you're infinitely creating in any moment. And so it's like your energy, your vibration, your choices are, and your asks are what are creating your whole reality. And so like I look at, I've got a lot of this reality sort of stuff right now. A great house, I've got this beautiful bed, right? And the more I become acoustically, vibrationally resonant with things that light my body up, the more it just goes and just gets bigger and bigger and bigger and greater and greater and greater and more fun and more juicy and more like satisfying. But not satisfying like you're done, but satisfying like you're filled up.
Yeah, yeah. That's a really different experience, isn't it? Like I know because I know you and I have done a number of your classes and I know that you were not always in that space. And so, because for me at the moment, this acoustical vibration, it's the thing that has really lit me up, and the awareness of it in relation to my body and creating more, and not necessarily waiting for everything to be in place before choosing. I think even coming to Bali was one of those things where I had talked about this for a long time, and, logically may not have seemed to some people like the most sensible thing to do. And yet this is what has created so much more for me. And that acoustical vibration, my awareness of that, it's just expanding so quickly, and it's engaging me with my voice and my body and the creation of my business. So there is a practical thing here, which is why I wanted to talk with you, because you have such like you're big into the consciousness journey adventure, and you have this really amazing ability with the pragmatics of that and the action steps to creating with that space of acoustic vibration. So I would love you to, what's one of the big takeaways that we can talk about right now from you in relation to being that acoustic vibration and creating your life way more than you ever thought was possible?
Oh gosh. You know, it's interesting because before, when I was functioning from a lot of lack of everything basically, that I was aware of the energy, but I didn't fully believe or get that it's really your energy that is the universe is responding to, right? And it's not just asking questions, right? But there's actions, there's being congruent, like congruently taking actions that are a match to what it is you say you would like to have. And so it was like a work in progress, you know, to sort of go, and then it started clicking in. And then started going, oh, okay, cool. This is how I use this to work to my advantage and to actually create. And it's literally like you being the infinite being is a big freaking ball of harmony, right? And then everything else, when we doubt ourselves, when we make ourselves wrong, when we buy other people's points of view, when we try to live up to other people's standards, all that stuff, that's what creates the and the disharmony. And it's like playing, like having a beautiful symphony going on, and then you have one freaking clarinet completely playing the wrong song. And it's like it ruins everything. You're like, oh God, that's horrible. Like, get that out of here. But instead of like when those sorts of things show up, when there's an out of resonance and out of harmony, instead of getting those things out, we take them on like, oh, there's something wrong, versus, hey, there's something that doesn't belong, right? That doesn't actually belong here. And go, oh, that thought, that doubt doesn't belong to me. That doesn't belong here right now. That's not adding anything. Let's just get rid of that. And that's as easy as it is, but we make it so hard to get rid of that stuff. And I think that's one of the biggest things for me, is that it's actually not that hard to get rid of it, or like let those things go, when you are actually committed to the harmony of you.
Yeah. Which is exactly that acoustic vibration, isn't it? You know, where there is that space of no doubt and no questioning of you, where, you know, like any time that we've got that, where we just actually choose, and it doesn't mean that you can't let that go and choose again. It is that congruency. Another one of your big things and one of your big gifts to me has been about that congruency and that resonance. Yeah, that vibrational resonance that is possible when we're willing to actually be present. And, you know, something I'm really interested in too, Cory, is I've watched you even in your relationship and watched that difference, that having that resonance and that commitment to you, and yet being able to have a relationship and work with a person. So would you be able to tell us a little bit about how that shows up for you, and what has been maybe a challenge with it as well, that you've actually had to get that?
You know, I think most of it came for me when before my current relationship with Ben, in a few things. One is actually knowing what, like, the kind of relationship I would like what were the energies, what were the elements that I knew were possible, not what everybody else was having, but what I knew was possible. And the thing that, well, there's so many things along the way that I worked on, because I had a lot of interesting relationships before now. But the one thing that I was never asking for, that I really wanted, but I was afraid didn't exist, was somebody who was interested in magic, somebody who was interested in being the magic that they are. And I had kind, and I had, generosity of spirit, and I had somebody who was a contribution. I had all of those energies and so many more on my list, so to speak, in my asks. But the one that I wasn't asking for was somebody with magic. So I was really just putting up with people who weren't actually resonant, weren't actually acoustically vibrating the same as me. And they were showing up to have relationships, and it doesn't actually work, because you're either fighting them, mostly dragging them along, right? And wishing and hoping that they'd be the magic. And if you have somebody who's vibrationally compatible with you, then you create more together in every area. You have more joy, you create more money, you create more fun, bodies are happier, all of that. But when there's something that you really know is possible that you're not allowing yourself to have by either choosing people or staying with somebody who's not actually vibrationally compatible, then it actually diminishes everything that's possible for you. And when I finally realized that and said, you know what, I'm done. I want a guy that's magic. And if there's no guy on the planet, I'd rather be single than
Yeah.
with anybody that doesn't actually want to exude and become more of the magic that they are. I think that's actually like more so than my evolution with Ben, because that's been easy. Once I got the magic and then somebody showed up that was willing to have it, it's easy.
And something in there that I absolutely love and has been such a big part of my journey is that thing of what is it that you actually want? What is it that resonates with you? Because it's so, so easy to be actually choosing and creating a life that's not actually what you want, that you're trying to fit. You've seen that and, oh, that looks good and that person's successful and so I'll just try and copy that, or I'll take pieces. And until you find your own, I'm not criticizing that, but that thing of actually finding what it is that you actually desire, that you require, and then that matching of the energies
Yeah.
and the matching of that resonance, acoustic vibration, harmony, that all of those words are talking about the same thing, which is that energetic congruency between your ask and what's showing up.
Yeah, and I think that there's a sort of implant in this reality that says you need somebody opposite of you. You need somebody that's going to challenge you. And I saw a post recently that said this lady went on this date with somebody, and he was really great and they had everything alike, but she was like, well, he's not different enough. He's not going to challenge me enough. And I was like, wow, because the
Interesting.
expansion of me in my life comes from within, not from somebody else. And I was looking at it going, that is an interesting concept, because we're taught to find somebody different from you so that you can grow,
Yeah.
versus somebody who's so similar that you can exponentially expand. And when you both have that desire to expand, that's the growth. I don't need Ben to help me expand and grow and challenge me.
Yeah.
I need Ben to support me and contribute and go with me. Right?
That's absolutely beautiful. And, I mean, how much does that relate to every area in this reality of where it's got to be hard, it's got to be the struggle. And that doesn't mean that there isn't, there isn't a commitment required to yourself and that there's going to be a lot of action here to create what you want to create. It's not negating that. But for me, I've been such an expert in the past at the struggle. My commitment to doing it hard was exemplary. And in this past year, I mean, it's been an ongoing journey with it, but in this past year, like just keeping on with okay, that's not ease. Let that one go. Oh, right. Okay. Choose again, because that's not actually easy either.
Yeah.
And the thrill of creating more ease and more space with that connection with myself
Yeah.
it's thrilling and makes waking up in the morning really easy.
Yeah. Well,
And
and the other thing that sort of pops up in this space is like when you have people in your world that are either making you prove who you be, or telling you you're not enough, or even a relationship where the challenge really is that you have to ongoingly um, prove yourself. Like I've had a number of relationships like that where I either wasn't seen fully, or I had to prove that, what I was aware of was real. And I was like, wow, so many people, we get into relationships and then we cover it up with something like, but I love them, or this is right, or but I got married and I can't leave, or, whatever the thing is. And that all of that, I think, is showing us a disharmony, a non-acoustical vibration, of when there's those sort of troubles, and that goes for relationships, in business, in love, and also when you're creating your business, when you're creating your life, the relationship with your body, right? All of, even the relationship with yourself and your own integrity, right?
Yeah. Now, and that's really interesting, because you and I have had a conversation recently about that integrity with yourself,
Yeah.
and where are your values, and what is important to you? What are the deal breakers? What is required to honor you?
Yeah. Yeah.
And what I love is that our bodies are such a gift. So they are giving us information all the time around what is going to create the change that we require, what it is that is the honoring of ourselves. Because like you were just saying, if there's those crunches, then there's something there that's not congruent. There's something that's not resonating. There's something that is creating a disharmonious wave in that acoustical vibration. And your beautiful body is actually telling you that. And it's so easy to actually put that to the outside and blame something else or somebody else. But what it is you are being given information that can create, that if you will just listen and be with that, then everything can change. Everything can show up way easier. Life, every area of it can be easier with such speed that it is totally mind-boggling.
Exactly. So I'm curious for you, Delany, what are some of the things that you've chosen, I don't want to say had to, but noticed that were crunchy, not congruent with life or whatever that you've chosen to let go of?
You know, one of the really big things for me, Cory, is that thing of not having my own reality,
Mhm.
of continually doing some amazing things and magical things, and yet within that each time not having my own back, not being committed to me, you know, and it doesn't mean that any of the things I chose were wrong.
Mhm.
It was just I didn't have me in there, and I kept giving me away. And so that created near dying, you know, like that. There was one year, I mean, it was getting embarrassing, you know, 2 near dyings, you know, like I see you near dyings, you know, and not just like, wait, oh, I'm a bit sick. It's like, no, you know, get this girl on a machine and give her morphine, you know, we're worried she's going to survive. And it really was, because I was just so unwilling to have me. And even in last year, things that I created were wonderful and magical, and yet again was just giving myself away more and more and more. And I have this amazing man in my life that is not trying to get me to prove anything to him, but who is certainly like you. I was saying yesterday that you and he are such a major contribution in my life about me having me actually embracing all of my capacities, all of my abilities, and everything that I know, rather than this, oh, hang on, I'll just run over here, work with this person, create all of this, which is wonderful and magic. There is absolutely no doubt. And yet still not totally have me. And
Yeah.
so that for me has been the biggest thing, you know,
Yeah.
to have me. And in this latest sojourn to Bali, it's relevant that it's Bali. I mean, it's gorgeous. It's wonderful that it's Bali, but it's irrelevant. What this whole trip is about is, Delany, will you totally choose you? Totally. and create what you came here to create. And I think developing this program, the voice, body, breath to acoustical vibration, this is, you know, like irrelevant of the people that have signed up for me. It's changed my life already. And we haven't even started the program yet, you know, because I'm actually, you know, I can't present a program and not be doing what I'm presenting in the program. So
Yeah.
it's just like exploding everything. You know, I am singing, I am sounding, I am breathing, I am connected with my body. I am looking at the acoustical vibration. I'm looking at when I'm feeling like crap or I'm shitty about something and asking what that is and keeping on asking and changing whatever it is. And I'm noticing how quickly everything changes.
Yeah.
You know, and it's not about relying on anyone else. It's actually being willing to receive the contribution from people, but not about relying or making anybody else responsible. It's got to be me. So for me, that's one of the biggest things. And that acoustical vibration, that harmony, that resonance, that energetic congruity, that is just such an immense gift. Because very quickly, you know whether you're having you or not.
Yeah, definitely. I love that. I love that how you've been acknowledging that more and more and more, and really brought what is part of your gifts and your talents back into your life, the singing, and that was a big part of your life before that had sort of gone to the wayside. And it's like once you start bringing those things back that really expand you, that really make you feel alive, it's amazing how the universe responds. It's amazing what starts to fall away when you're willing to just let everything go. Then the things that are resonant, congruent will stay, and the things that aren't will naturally leave. But we hold on to so much that like we think is important and we don't want to lose, and we've made more valuable than us having all of us, that those things can't naturally just fall away with ease. And all the other stuff naturally show up. And I hear that a lot of like, well, if I let this go, then I don't know what's going to show up. Well, awesome, because it's going to be better than what you have right now. If it's not congruent and you're going for congruent, then you're going to get something better, whatever it is. But you might not know what it is.
We're so cute, aren't we?
Are so cute.
I need to know. I need to know every step.
We're adorable. Super adorable.
Yeah, we are. Thank God. Well, my dear, say this is such an amazing life. Like, do we all get, you know, just how brilliant it is to have this body? You know, that we've actually chosen embodiment and we're here. And unlike any religions that put on the other side of the body is where it all gets really good, like that it can be really, really good right here, right now with these bodies. And the more that, you know, you began the call saying, Cory, you know, the more that we actually choose and go with what our bodies actually like, you know, what lights us up, the more that everything just keeps expanding and you receive more and you receive more. So what will it take for us to actually, and what would it be like for all of us to actually have the gratitude for these bodies and be willing to listen to what it is they're telling us and embrace that and keep asking for more. And you don't have to be able to buy the awesome bed that's in behind Cory right in this 10 seconds to be able to have that luxurious elegance of living. We can have that right now.
Exactly. And that was one of my biggest things. Well, not my biggest. I could say that about a million things. My biggest thing was
Yes.
But one of my awesome awarenesses was that luxury wasn't, gold-plated jets and yachts and, eating caviar every day. Luxury was actually an energy that was what was actually like acoustically vibrating with my body. Like it was natural, it was organic of my body. And I was like, wait a second, that's luxury. Now, hey, to have a gold-plated jet, that would be cool too. I'm not going to rule that option out, but I'm also not going to wait to have luxury until I can afford all of that, right? And
Yeah.
have the luxury now, which actually gets you more into the vibration of more of what is already resonant and congruent with your infiniteness and your being and your body, and it actually creates more. So
Yeah.
it's this sort of backwards reverse engineering, like of what's actually true for you, have that now, and not the projections and expectations of what the world says, right?
Yeah. Totally. Totally.
Yeah. So I wanted to ask you, Delaney.
Yeah.
So
Sure.
we were okay. Well, I'm
Go
sure
on.
this will be okay. I hope this will be okay. So we
Yeah.
were sitting, Delaney was staying at my place for a week months ago, and we were sitting there, and she was like, looking at programs to create and stuff, and we were talking about all of the music and how attuned she is, and everything that Delaney has done, in her lifetime with music, and she was working with attorneys, really getting them into their bodies with their voices, and all of these amazing things were happening for these attorneys, right? Like these straight-laced attorneys. And we started through the conversation. I don't remember exactly how it went, Lady, but I was like, well, can you actually hear in the resonance in the vocals, the sounds, if like the resonance of an ask, like when people are resonant with like what they're asking for. And do you remember that conversation?
Yeah, I do remember that conversation. And absolutely. There is so much, like there is so much in the voice. It's
Mhm.
it's incredible. It's totally incredible. I've worked with people that have only been able to speak like really like I've had a couple of clients, this was years back, and there were women that only could talk like little girls, like really talk like little girls. And they had these, horrific things go on in their life that led them to choose this with their voice. Like, you mean, God, we actually have choice with our voice as well.
Mhm.
And so just by hearing where people are speaking, where it's sitting in their bodies, where their sound is coming from, how they connect with that can show you so much about yourself and show you so much when you're working with other people as well. It's this
Mhm.
whole awareness thing. And it's another way of our bodies telling us something,
Mhm.
you know. And we have, like, I see what happens with people when they hear themselves recorded for the first time, or sometimes it goes way beyond just the first time, and total uncomfortability with the sound of their voice, and yet
Mhm.
no question as to what else is possible and what they can do different with that and what they can be different with that sound. And if you have listened to this, like, my voice has traveled a whole journey of where I'm sitting with it. It's down in my chest. It's actually sitting on vocal folds. And then I can lighten it up and I can bring it up into my head and I can do all sorts of things. And it engages your whole body. Your voice is an instrument. Whether you're speaking or whether you're singing or whether you're sounding or chanting or doing whatever it is, your body is the instrument. Just as a guitar has strings and the body of the guitar is that resonance, it's the resonance space that the strings pluck them and that sound is made. Your body is the instrument. So
Mhm.
what can you play with? What can you learn about this incredible instrument, your body, your voice?
Yeah.
It just
Yeah.
thrills me.
Well, and it's like even our voice, because there was a period of time in my life where I couldn't get into a deep voice. I was always going to the higher, what we call it, falsetto. I wasn't like super, super high, but I couldn't get really down in my body. And I was afraid to sing. I thought I had a terrible voice. I thought it sounded horrible and annoying. And I had all of these points of view about it. And also with those, I had those, but also like even the vibrations of the thoughts in your head when you're telling yourself you're not good enough or you're doubting yourself, and those vibrations are also there, but also the things you say out loud when we make an excuse.
Yeah.
Like, oh, money's, I can't do it because I don't have the money, or when we're complaining. Those are all the vibrations that are beaming out of us, and that's exactly what the universe is responding to. So the universe is always delivering harmonious to what you are saying, what are you thinking, all of those vibrations, frequencies, the universe is responding to those. And so what I love about what you're offering is a way to actually get congruent with yourself energetically, so that every energy that's coming out of you is congruent with what you are asking for. Instead of saying, oh, I'd like to make some money, and then you go watch Netflix, you're like really looking at, wait a second, is that actually energetically congruent? No, it's not. Let's actually ask a question of what can I choose, and everything else that Delany has to offer. But I really wanted to share that with people, Delany, because that's a totally different way of creating your life.
Yeah.
From the acoustical being that you are. And this is the class to actually do that. So totally different access to that. Yeah.
Thank you very much. It's very exciting for me. It's so exciting for me to finally go, oh, that's right. All of this is what I love. This is what actually lights me up. Not everything else that I distract myself with, but this is what thrills me, and that is just so magical.
Yeah.
It's totally magic. So
Yeah.
if you would like to know more, I will post a link to the new program, and you can message me and have a chat if you need more information. I am happy to sound out with you. Cory, Michelle, this has been delightful, and you have been my first guest on the Delany Show.
The Delany Show. The Delany Show.
We've been talking about that one for a long time too. And finally. So you are my very first guest, and it's very apt because your contribution to me is outrageously wonderful, and I adore you.
Oh, I freaking adore you. I'm so, so excited for you and for your body and for everybody that's going to be engaging with you on this stuff. I think it's really magical and transformational in the world. I think it's really going to be a hit with people, and a totally different way to access consciousness in your own being in your life. So I'm super excited.
Yay!
Yeah.
Me too. Thank you so much, my love.
Mwah!
I'll be talking to you soon.
All right, bye guys. Thanks for everybody watching.
On. And we'll be talking to you soon. Bye.
Bye.